Hey, good morning everybody. It's about just before 8 o'clock on Saturday. What is it, the 16th I think of December. Got some early morning opportunity to do some work over here, so I'm going to take advantage of it. The object of today is to get this boot floor piece or donor piece prepped, so I'm going to cut out this entire section here and weld in a new piece. Again, this center hole is factory, but these two holes on the sides are not. So I'll just cut out that entire square. Everything else I'm just going to clean up and assess for usability, I guess. This crack over here I'll fix at some point during the repair. And I think I had pointed out that I've got these boils or whatever you want to call them of rust here underneath the brackets for the you can see that bracket under there. Water obviously got in between there. So I'm probably going to just cut that out, and then I got to get this little flange off so that I can get this prepped and fitted to go back into Dorothy. So I'm not too sure how far I get. No real goal there, and get over to her and hopefully get that boot floor cut out and prepped over there too. Maybe we'll see how it goes, and keep you in the loop. All right, it's about 9 o'clock. Got most of this, if not all of this, cancer on the donor here cut away. I don't have it cleaned up yet, as you can see, but I got those brackets drilled out. Big hole there, another not quite as large but big hole there. The centerpiece, I cut that entire piece out there. So that's that guy. I'll make a template, or I'll use this as a template. Got that flange off. That was no problem actually, because the spot welds that had held the flange to that lip there were not, they weren't rusted away, they just weren't attached. Fine Coventry workmanship. And I still have yet to cut that flange away there and rebuild that. So essentially the next step is I'm going to figure out what I'm going to cut away from Dorothy. I'm probably going to cut this piece right here. This is the driver's side. Fix that crack. I'll probably just tack it just to kind of hold it in place, and then decide and just essentially cut straight along here. I got this bracket that I'll get off of Dorothy, the exhaust bracket thing, which is that guy there. Seems to be in pretty good shape in Dorothy, so I'll get that off of there, fill those holes in, and then cut the rest of the way here. What I'm not too sure, I think what I'm going to end up doing here is cutting out this square in the center here, and then patching in a plate there, and then reattaching that bracket. Not real good at this whole dissimilar metal thickness welding and stuff, but I think there's enough spot welds there, and I think being on the tabletop, it'll be easier to do than in the car for me, so I'm going to go for that and just replace that square, and then tack that bracket back in, and then replace, cut right about here or so and up into this way, and then just kind of flare it in or fare it in on Dorothy. Couple brazing spots there that they got to grind off. Always like to see that brazing stuff, because some dude in the factory's actually taking a torch to it and working on it. It's not an automated process. Not that a lot of this stuff was, I guess, back in 1965 or 66, but so yeah, moving along okay, and I'll keep you informed. All right, about 10 o'clock. Pretty much all the repair patches that I'm going to put in, I have ready to go. So that one's going to go in there like that. Drilled the hole just with a step bit. Wasn't too complicated. And then this patch back here, somewhere on my wonderful table here, I've got the repair patch for him. There it is. That guy's going to go in there. Big T on there for top, so I didn't confuse my old self. And then this guy still has a little bit of fitting to do as I go in, but that guy's going to go in right there. So after I get those repair patches in, and I intend to kind of finish them up, I'll fix this crack over here, I'm going to put this one bracket back in, so I still have yet to clean that up. I'll put that back in over here, and then I'm going to start to look at getting it all cleaned up, deciding where I'm going to make my cuts to fit it back into Dorothy, and we'll go from there. All right, I got the first repair patch all ready to weld in. Got it clamped down. Got my welder set up. Give you a little review of the welder here. As you guys may or may not know, I have a Hobart Handler 140. Pretty highly recommended as far as a quality, home user welder goes. I picked it up at Tractor Supply. Well, it's been 2 years ago, I guess, Christmas. They were on sale for $450. I don't remember what the actual sale price was. Obviously, and I got a bottle. Those the bottles are not real cheap. That was not real cheap, and I've had it refilled once with all this stuff in it, and I got about 1,300 pounds in it. They come in at about 2,000 pounds, but you can't. You got to have gas and solid wire. So anyway, for this particular, most of the welding that I've been doing in the sheet metal, I finally kind of got the welder dialed in. For the Hobart here, the voltage is incrementally selectable, 1 through 5 there, obviously arbitrary kind of numbers. I've got it on 2, and the wire feed speed, which is the top dial there, that's infinitely settable between 0 and 100, and I got it about 40. It does come with a welding guide here, just a chart or a table that says, hey, you know, this is where you want to set it when you set it. I go off the 20 gauge, which is about what this runs, and if you look at the 20 gauge stuff, solid wire with a 75-25 argon CO mix gas that I'm running with 0.024 wire, calls for about 2 and 40. So that's what I'm using, and that's what I've got it set up. While it's not perfect, and I do experience some blow through and stuff, that it's definitely the most consistent and the easiest for me to do when I do the little tack welds and everything. That works pretty well for that. So anyway, I'm going to get going here and weld this guy up and continue on. All right, so like I said, I got the piece set up here. I'm just going to go around and tack it in, get it welded up, and that's about really all I got to do. I did punch holes in it, by the way, for spot welding or plug welding in the new bracket. Thankfully, I remembered to do that because I would not have been able to get those holes in there. So had a little epiphany there, thankfully. You probably couldn't see it, but the first couple welds I did were pretty dirty. It almost looks like a crater on the moon kind of thing instead of as smooth of a bead as I can give it, I guess. But I'm using nozzle gel, and what the nozzle gel does is it's like it's a gel, almost like a suntan lotion kind of thing, except more liquidy than that. And you just dip the nozzle in, and it tries to keep down splatter and stuff like that. Kind of keeps it easier to clean up and everything. But the first couple times you use that before that nozzle kind of liquefies and melts, it can block your gas flow. So I had indications of that. So you may have seen that I was kind of messing around with the nozzle there, trying to get that figured out. So that's what that was. Pretty big gap over here, unfortunately, just because I didn't size the piece very well. So I got a copper spoon here, put the copper spoon right underneath of there as best as I can fit it anyway, and the weld metal won't stick to that copper. I think this is a whopping $6 at Harbor Freight. I know a lot of guys will take copper pipe and just smash it flat, but I didn't have any copper pipe laying around, so. Alright, so that guy's in there. I'm going to move to the flange on the side here and get that tacked in. Like I said, I still got some fitment to do there, so I'm going to go off camera a little bit and kind of finish that up and then get to going with that. Alright, got the side piece, or side flange, whatever you want to call it. Got that cut and ready to go. This is not pretty the way that it's sitting here right now. This is one of those pieces where I will kind of form as you go, I guess you could say. You know, cut it oversized a little bit, weld it in, and kind of grind it to fit as I move along. So, but I want to get it tacked in for now, so, or at least started, I mean. So it's tacked. You might be able to see that. It's anything about these GoPros is you can't zoom them. There's a pretty good buckle there, so I'm going to pound that out. Alright, so there's that. Flanged. Flange is flanged. Just have to grind that to make that fit a little bit. Alright, so I'll keep working my way down. Alright, so I got the big repair patch fitted up, ready to tack in. So some waviness and some parts are not exactly fit and all that, but it's clamped in, but it moves freely. So essentially I'll just tack over here and kind of work my way down. Again, I got air to try to minimize the warpage. I'm not real concerned with warpage in this piece, but yeah, so we're just gonna kind of work our way down here. Hopefully I got some light on it so you can see it. Sorry that there's gonna be shadows. But there you go. Alright, so that's tacked in pretty good except for right here where it kind of bowed out a little bit. And now it's not bowed anymore. Quick little fix there. So I'll touch that. By the way, you got to remember, if you saw me go like this with my finger, I forgot that I didn't have my blue glove on. Welding gets hot. So, you know, important safety tip there. Still gets hot. Dolly under here. Not gonna get it. I gotta bang that flush, which means I gotta take this whole thing apart. See how that works for me. So made some adjustments, hammer and anvil, hammer and dolly work, just to kind of line everything up. And just pull the top off there. And I think essentially ready to go for some final tacks here. Kind of a flat blob there, but so yeah, so that's in pretty well. I'll get that cleaned up, but I want to move down now a little bit and get to the crack down there, so we'll see. Keep going. Alright, so got the camera repositioned here, kind of close. Hopefully I don't melt it, and we'll get this welded in, or tacked in. I'm not going to go to town on it, but try to get it relined up. Alright, so there's that. So the next thing I'll do is I'll get this bracket in down here. I know the camera's kind of stationary there. Let me undo it here. Get the I'll get this bracket tack welded in, and that's probably gonna be close to being it for the rest of the day. I may go back and clean up and go ahead and finish up these welds, look at the inside, make sure I've got good penetration everywhere. But yeah, I'll probably just take a grinding wheel to stuff here, but unfortunately I've got other commitments, so we'll keep going, see how far we get. It's just about noon, I gotta get going. I did get this tacked in, the support bracket there. I'm not real sure how much penetration I got, but I ground it down anyway. I still have to fill in creases between the original floor and the little square patch that I put in there, but I wanted to check out those welds. I think there's 8 of them, so I'm not too worried about it. Got the flange kind of cleaned up there. Again, I'm not too overly concerned about that, especially the way it looks. And I got this most of the way ground down. Unfortunately, my flap disc lost its flappity, so I didn't really have time to change it out, but that's about done. I'm sure there's going to be spots in there, like right there, that I've got some holes, but grind it flush here. Big step there, so I'll grind that flush. But otherwise, not too bad. So I still obviously have to assess how it's going to fit into here and what I'm going to cut and what I'm going to save and all that kind of stuff. But it's I think in the long run here it's going to be easier to do it this way. At least I hope so. I guess I'll never really know, but easier to do it this way than to try to patch the bottom of Dorothy's floor, with it in there. So anyway, there you go. That's all the time that I'm going to have over here over the weekend. I have my calculus midterm on Sunday, so wish me luck on that, please, because I need it. But otherwise, thanks for the likes. I appreciate you guys watching all the videos and leaving the comments. It's kind of fun to interact with everybody and get some tips and pointers, especially Hazen, who left me a very lengthy comment last night on this that I read through and hope I kind of followed along with. So thanks for that, Hazen. Otherwise, have a good rest of your weekend. Please continue to subscribe and like the videos. Don't forget the website, www.roundtailrestoration.com, for some write-ups. I obviously am now behind. So otherwise, have a good rest of your weekend. Cheers.